one who knows the truth. A warrior that destroys civilizations. A rider that can avenge the fallen.
Hello and welcome to the Darksiders II hands-on event here in Amsterdam. With us we have Marvin Donald, the game director. And well, what I would like to start with is what exactly is the role of the game director in a project like this?
For the most part, I concentrate on the narrative and how it's presented in the game, the major events, the cinematics, the NPC interactions, all the quest dialogue, everything that helps tell the story.
So you keep it all together. Developing for a variety of platforms, has it been a challenge?
You know, honestly, it's not real transparent from my perspective. I think we learned a lot when we worked on Darksiders 1. We've got a smoother process for making sure that all the other consoles are up to speed. This time around we're doing a sim ship that includes the PC. We had to delay it a couple of months with Darksiders 1, and so not only are we going to get the PC version out faster this time around, we're going to have better keyboard and mouse integration, a better user interface for the PC version. So overall I think we've gone through a few growing pains and we should be a lot better at it now.
This one is also coming out for the Wii U. Mm-hmm. How has that been?
So far, so good. I mean, we have limitations based on Nintendo's progress, but you know, that really has the only problem that's been for us is you know, not having an actual release date. But once we know when the Wii U has, or when Nintendo is committed to a firm date, you know, we'll be able to commit to a date for Darksiders 2. But we're planning on it being a launch title, and so far everything's been smooth sailing. We got the game running on their hardware pretty quickly, and the controller's been great to work with. Now it's just down to deciding what we really want to do to make it a unique experience on the Wii U. You know, taking advantage of you know, the extra screen and the touch capability and all that. So we'll have a few new features for sure. But I think visually, for the most part, it'll be pretty much the same. You know, so far the hardware's been on par with what we have with current generations. So based on what I understand, you know, the resolution and textures and poly counts and all that stuff, we're not going to be doing anything to up-res the game, but we'll take advantage of the controller for sure.
Now, you have said that this one's going to be epic. Mm-hmm. So obviously, I mean, epic, bigger is better. Mm-hmm. And Death is quite a different character from War. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different mechanics going on. There's all this climbing and jumping and swimming and bouncing. Has it been difficult to keep that together? I mean, there's so much new stuff going on.
Well, with this particular demo, you're at a point where we typically focus on puzzles and traversal. So the ratio of combat may not necessarily be as high in this kind of dungeon because it's the one that wraps up your experience in this part of the world. You halfway through the dungeon, you get a new gear item, Death Grip, which allows you to do things like swing from rings that are on the ceiling, and extend your wall running by grabbing onto nubs and thrusting you forward. And there are a few sequences where you do things like grab onto Karn, who's the main character that's helping you through, because he's a big sturdy guy, so you can reach across a gap and grab onto him and pull yourself towards him. So because you're getting a new ability, we want to make sure that there are plenty of instances where, you know, there are fun ways to use it, basically. And you can use it in combat too. You know, if an enemy is larger than you, You can use Death Grip to pull you closer to it, or if they're smaller, you can pull them closer to you to kind of close the distance.
So yes, the companion that we saw in this hands-on of Darksiders 2 today, will Death be having a companion all through the game, or?
Well, this is a special case for this particular point in the story, where you had met Karn a few dungeons prior to this, and he's sort of been there to provide a little extra assistance here and there, sometimes in unintended ways. He's an interesting character because he's trying to prove himself, and when it's time to go through this dungeon, it's his opportunity to show his worth, both to you and to the other inhabitants of this particular part of the game. So it's definitely a key point in the story. That being said, there are other areas where you will have assistance from other NPCs. Yeah, I mean, it is something we do explore from time to time, but that won't be the case in every single dungeon. We just do it every once in a while to kind of mix things up and make the experience seem fresh.
I don't know if you can comment on this, but would any of these companions be some of the other horsemen, perhaps?
No comment.
Indeed. So Darksiders 2 also features a fairly interesting skill system. Can you tell us about that and how it differs from the first episode or the first game?
Well, in Darksiders 2, you won't be able to acquire every single skill, so you're going to have to make decisions about the way you want your character to evolve. We've got 2 trees to choose from, and you can put points in both trees, or you can focus on one. One, for the most part, is about strength and combat, and the other is about your wrath abilities. So it's sort of a warrior versus, magic user in terms of archetypes. And players can choose their own unique combination. Do they want to focus solely on one or the other, or do they want to be a jack of all trades? It's up to you. But throughout the course of a single playthrough, you won't get enough skill points to actually get every single skill, so you'll have to pick and choose.
And if somebody does decide to just follow one skill tree, are the gains from that going to be is it going to be a real game changer?
I think it's going to change the way you fight for them. I mean, obviously, because the Wrath moves are based around combat, so that goes without saying. But it'll change the way that you which attacks you use, what order you do them in. I mean, there are certain skills that work great in combination. For instance, you've got Harvest, which is the ability to briefly turn into the Reaper, and you do a strike around you, like a circular strike. And that's good when you're surrounded by several enemies, but they have to be pretty close to you to use it. And then on the other side of the tree, you've got another skill called Murder, which summons a flock of crows, and they automatically go out and target multiple enemies. So what I like to do is use Harvest when a bunch of guys are close to me, and it knocks them back. And then I go straight to Murder, which summons the crows, and they all go out and they hit the guys that I've just knocked back away from me. So it's a nice combination where, boom, I knock you away, and now that you're away, I send out a bunch of crows to finish off, the enemies that were next to me. And knowing that I have that going into combat changes, what I choose to do, because I would run specifically for a group that's clustered together, hit them with one move, and then hit them with the second move. Whereas if I had a different set of skills picked out, I might look for isolated targets, and just pick those off one at a time. So it'll change the feel and what you do when you're in combat. So those choices matter quite a bit.
So speaking of crows, I seem to notice that there's a nice little clue system worked into the game in the form of a crow that seems to be there to guide the clueless, as it were, which I've been today on a couple of occasions. But you've also said that in this game it's okay if the player has to think for a bit. Do you fear at all that this might influence the flow of the game?
Well, it's all part of the intended experience. We've done a lot of focus test, or I should say usability testing, more specifically to make sure our features are understood by the player, and the guidance system with the Crow is part of that. We don't want to spell out what the player needs to do in a room. We just need to. Sometimes all they need to know is what to look at, and then they can figure out how to get across or over or under whatever obstacle that is, as long as they're given the right direction. Occasionally you'll be in a big space and you just don't know where to run. You've got too many options and it kind of feels a little overwhelming, but at the same time you don't want to be told specifically what the sequence of events are, because you're playing a game and part of that is figuring out the puzzle. Just a little nudge saying, hey, look at that thing over there is, I think just the right amount to help people feel like they're still playing a game. It's not being played for them, but they have just enough information to keep from being frustrated.
Okay, and that's about it from us here, but if you'll refresh us on when we'll be seeing the game in the stores.
In June.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
One who will remind the guilty what starts with war